Hi, everyone. On November 11th, 2025, local time in Western China, there was a spectacular collapse of a highway bridge that took out an abutment and several approach spans to this recently completed bridge. This is one of the major roadways leading to Tibet, and I'm just going to play this footage here. It's quite stunning. Now, apparently, they anticipated that there may be a problem with the rock slope at this abutment, so the road was reported to be closed to traffic and construction personnel. And apparently they closed this bridge a day before this failure. And I've got several different camera angles I'm going to show you here. It looks like they were prepared for this potential disaster, although the available evidence to me indicates that this was a design failure, particularly related to geotechnical engineering or geological engineering. So I'm going to go over that. And at first, I thought this might be an AI generated video. There were several things about it that looked real, and there were other things about it that looked fake. But it's been reported in a variety of reputable news sources, including Reuters. All of these videos start out after the collapse was initiated. This is one of the things that looked fake to me. You can see a flag flying vertically in the midst of all that debris. It'd be nice to know where that flag started out, probably at the top of the bridge, but again, I don't have any footage prior to this failure of the bridge and roadway. So this is again a roadway leading to Tibet from China. Just kind of zoom out here. The highway bridge is over a reservoir. We'll just zoom out here to give you an idea of where this is located. It's another aerial view. You can see this bridge crosses one of the arms of this reservoir, or actually two arms of this reservoir. And I went back to see how long that reservoir might have been in place. And here's a 2016 aerial photo from Google. And you see the outlines of the reservoir, but the image is blurred out. I think there's several instances where China requires their aerial photos to be blurred out, and apparently Google complies. I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but you can still make out the reservoir there. So I think the cause of the failure here is likely to be due to unfavorable orientation of bedding planes in the rock mass at this abutment of the bridge. One of the important considerations for the alignment of a tunnel or bridge or roadway is to account for whether rock units dip in to the area of the structure, or particularly where there's excavation. You don't want to remove support and have rock dipping in to an area where you've essentially cut the toe off. There's some discussion about whether the presence of the reservoir has caused seepage throughout these rock masses, perhaps lowering the strength of the rock, particularly at these bedding planes. That information hasn't been clearly presented so far, but I could just tell you almost certainly that this is a design failure that probably did not account for the proper orientation of the bedding planes for this rock, and whether they had planned to do any stabilization efforts like rock bolts and that sort of thing is not clear at this point. But when you have such a massive failure like this, it just, to me, indicates an overall alignment problem relative to the rock mass in that region or in that area. So I'll continue to follow the story. It's not a great look, again, for China-related highway and bridge construction. I always get these people in the comments thinking that I'm picking on China. China-related videos are a small percentage of my overall content. Certainly, I hit American bridge construction hard over and over, but I call it as I see it. And something like this should never happen ever on a project, but particularly in just a handful of months following the opening of a major project like this. I want to send a shout out to those of you who've contributed to buy me a coffee. That's one of the better ways to support this channel. I also want to thank the channel members and those of you who've contributed to super thanks. So stay tuned, everyone.